wanted to highlight that, and then we were kind of trying to dig deeper into what we actually wanted to like focus on. And we came up with the ripple effect, and this can really be positive or negative on women. Oftentimes, like as a woman, you need other women to empower you, but sometimes that can also lead you into that comparison trap, and then it creates that negative effect on you. So we decided to create this panel today to highlight some of those things, whether it's positive or negative.
Hello everyone, my name is Jamari. I am the current chair of Sit&T with the VP. I am a sophomore and an education major, and I'm from a small town called Mansfield, Louisiana. I'm going to pass it over to my co-moderator today, Isabella.
Hi everyone, my name is Isabella. For those of you in the back, if you can't hear us, let us know and we'll turn the mics on. I think we can all speak fairly loudly, but they're kind of jarring to us. So I am a senior psychology student. This is my second semester on the Sit&T with the VP committee, and I actually got to serve as the committee head for this panel and kind of spearhead the direction that we wanted this to go into. So I'm very excited to introduce our incredible panelists today. We're going to start with Dr. Alberta Green.
Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Alberta Brown Green. I'm from Monroe, Louisiana. I graduated from this amazing university in 03, the first degree, in 09 with my master's in mental health and career counseling, and I have my PhD in human capital development because I love everything about human strategic planning, organizational effectiveness, and all the things. I own a company called ABG Professional Development Solutions, where we work with small, medium, and large organizations. So I am the person who kind of goes into the organization, partners with HR, and makes sure that the organization, basically the employees, understand what all they need to do, the managers know how to manage, and the list goes on and on and on. So we have the professional development, training and development, and also I'm a licensed mental health therapist. I've been licensed since 2012, and I also serve in the capacity of executive coach for CEOs, vice presidents, and directors.
Hello everyone, my name is Kiwan Smith. I'm a first generation senior communications student from Shreveport, Louisiana. Not into the professional aspect yet, but some of the things that I do here in a collegiate space, I was the current 2024 homecoming queen. I am a member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, as well as MPHC president.
Hello everyone, my name is Jessica Reynolds. I also graduated from this wonderful university. However, when I graduated way back in 1999, I was actually, fun fact, in the very last graduating class from what was then NLU, because January 2000 is when they changed to ULM. So I have a bachelor's from NLU and a master's from ULM in kinesiology applied exercise science. So I spent many years training and teaching, and I love all things health and wellness and nutrition and exercise. And I teach my students over there. I was just telling her that I'm teaching epidemiology. I teach all kinds of things over there. Pretty much I've taught just about everything. Sports psychology, concepts of wellness, health and fitness, motor learning, biomechanics, anything that is related to health and physical movement. I have taught it and I love it. It's great. And I love my students. So happy to be here.
Hi, my name is Takia George, but I go by Ty. I'm from Western Louisiana. I'm a senior toxicology major, and I currently serve as the Vice President of AWS. What's that? That is Ambitious Women's Society here on campus.
Awesome. I love that. Unrealistic beauty standards. I just experienced this, and a prime example. I love makeup. I love people in makeup, right? And I cannot do my face to save the United States of America. However, I am a speaker. For instance, last week alone, I may have spoken 5 different times, and then this week 3 different times. And then I have to choose wisely. What do y'all call it? It's a name y'all call it. Beat your face or something, I don't know. But I have to choose wisely when I'm going to have that done, because I pay to have it done because I don't know how to do it. So other than that, throw on some lipstick and all of that stuff. But relates to unrealistic beauty expectations. You have to be comfortable in your own skin. Sometimes you will feel intimidated because someone does know how to apply makeup and you don't know how to apply makeup like they know how to apply makeup. And then you feel like you want to look like everybody else and you feel like you're left behind. But beauty comes from within. Beauty is confidence. You should be able to walk into a room and understand that just because your nails are not done, you don't have a full face made up or all the things, it's the inside, it's your confidence, and it's you believing that you are wonderfully and fearfully made. So don't let anybody make you feel bad or say, little things like, oh, you're overweight, or you're too skinny, or how come you don't have any makeup on? I mean, people will do it all the time, but you have to know who you are. And you have to believe that you are somebody. You're beautiful with makeup, you're beautiful without makeup. I don't care if you're 700 pounds. Well, no, I care about that because I want you to be healthy. And can you see all the things down here? And live a healthy life.
Still be beautiful.
Right. You can still be beautiful, but you want to, take care of yourself and all that good stuff. So don't fall into that trap, because at the end of the day, I actually had somebody tell me several years ago, whenever I started speaking a lot, I had someone tell me, it's time for you to have your people. And I was like, what does that mean? Someone to do your hair and your face and your nails. And I'm pretty much a plain Jane for the most part, so I had to take a step back and I was like, is it time for me to have all of that? And I'm just now getting the face stuff, and I only do it on certain things. But also, I could have walked in here with nothing and still believe that I was beautiful and capable and smart and confident. That's all I have.
Thank you.
I used to compare myself in every aspect, whether it was my major, whether it was the rate at which I'm moving, like if I'm staying on campus, my friends are off campus, or, well, she's in nursing, she's gonna have a job as soon as she graduates, and you gotta figure it out. Like my sisters, I have older sisters, so I'm like, oh, well, she already has a house, but one of the things that my mother used to always do, and she still kind of does, and it actually used to make me cry, because I'm like, she's looking at me, was making me look in the mirror. Like, she used to physically make me stand and look in the mirror. And I think that's one of the biggest and deepest lessons that I've ever learned, was we live to not satisfy everyone else but the person that you're looking at in the mirror. So as long as they're smiling back at you, then you've done your job.
About confidence to stand out, because I struggle with that to this day, and I'm working on that currently, because I used to do things to help me stand out, like change my hair, colors, different styles, but I realized that was an inside thing, so I've done the work to do so to help me, and right now I'm doing something unorthodox, which is speaking in front of people, because I'm not a type of person that like to speak, and I'm doing something different, and I feel like gradually I will be more confident in speaking, and in due time, my confidence will be empowering for others that struggle to speak, just like me.
And you're doing a great job.
Thank you.
Thing you're afraid of. So this is something I preach to my 17-year-old son all the time. When you get an obstacle, you have two choices. You can quit and give up. That's real easy. You go, there's an obstacle. I'm out. I quit. Just turn around and go home. Or you can figure out a way to go over it and be real proud of yourself when you get over that obstacle. When you climb that mountain and you're standing on top and there's still people down at the bottom, like, oh, I quit. I gave up. That was too hard. I couldn't climb that mountain. And when you're looking down, you feel real proud of yourself. So there are a lot of things. I have a lot of insecurities and a lot of voices. You know those voices, anybody else have a voice in their head that says, you can't do that because, fill in the blank, because you're poor. Grew up very poor, single mom of 3 kids. Nobody in my family had my mom didn't even have a high school degree, much less a college degree. That was not an option. There were lots of times I was like, well, I can't go to college. I can't afford that. I'm not smart enough for that. All those voices. Guess what? Tell them to sit down and shut up. Just hush. And then let yourself prove that voice wrong. Or somebody tells you you can't do something, a lot of people will be like, okay, they told me I can't do that. I say, watch me, like, stop it. And it took a lot to get there, because again, I'm not a very confident person, I'm not a very secure person, I was not somebody who was just given everything in life. I have learned through hard work, through practice, doing things that scare the heck out of me. But once you do those things, I don't like to speak in front of people either, just so you know, so I'm glad you're beside me. But once you do those things, and you've accomplished those things, it makes it much easier, and then other people can see you doing things that you were afraid of, you overcoming obstacles that they also don't think they can overcome, and that gives them the confidence and the ability to be able to do those things as well. So when you're speaking, which is something you said you're normally not used to doing, there may be people out there and think, oh, look at her, she's doing it, I can do it too. So you have to keep that in mind. When you do something, other people are seeing that, and you can be that mentor, that beacon of light, that hope for them. So that's what I say when you face those challenges. Like, just figure out a way to go around it and win. Get over it.
You repeat the question?
The question was, how can we overcome these obstacles?
Well, I'm a firm believer while I'm very religious, and you don't even have to be. But what you speak into the atmosphere is what you allow yourself to become. So if you keep saying that you can't do something, or that you're not good at something, or that you are these insecurities, then I feel like you tend to become that just because you've convinced yourself that that's the outcome already. So every day I try to make sure if someone is telling me that I can't something, if someone is telling me that I can't do something, that I say that I am that, or that I can do that. So that way, it's like I have to prove to you that you just said that I couldn't do this, but now I'm gonna come back 2 times harder to make sure that not only I prove to you that I could, but also to myself.
Just to piggyback on what both of these people shared, young women, my young counterpart over here. I guess just to talk a little bit about the comparison button. Social media is a whole other beast, right? You already have people who you know that you're walking around that are doing things, and in your mind you're like, wow, everybody is ahead of me. I'm like so behind. How do I even catch up? And then every time you turn on your social media, you got somebody who's your age or younger even doing more stuff. And then you're like, I'm so behind, how do I catch up? So what I say is that I love what Ms. Reynolds said. You have to figure out what works for you. What do you want in life? Because if you keep looking at everybody else, it's going to stop your growth, and you're not going to be able to move ahead. So when you see somebody doing great and doing amazing, don't let the enemy make you feel like you're less than. Don't make the enemy cause you to be jealous, envious, hateful, spiteful, wish bad upon them. The way you get ahead is you see a woman succeeding and doing amazing, you cheer them on. You be the biggest cheerleader that they have, because you know what? Yours is coming, and it's right around the corner when you choose to be that supportive friend or that supportive person, okay? So instead of beating yourself up or making yourself feel less than, you have to believe that you are able, you are capable, you are smart, you are beautiful. And a trick that you can do, don't say it in your mind. When the voices try to say something to you when you're taking a shower, and then you hear, oh my God, why did I do that? That was so stupid. Why did I make that? You have to speak it out loud. I don't believe in speaking it in the head. If you're standing in the mirror and that negative thought comes, you attack it immediately. So you're in the mirror doing your hair, man, I broke it out so bad. Oh my gosh, this is not, you are beautiful. Look at those eyes, they're sparkling. Girl, look at that smile. You have to attack it instantly and know who you are. And you have to speak those words like she said. You have to speak them over yourself. And that's how you come out of that.
The following question: have you ever compared yourself to or competed against others in your community? Overwhelmingly, the answer is yes. From your personal stories so far, I know that you've also felt that comparison. So my question to you is that with some of the most common limitations being the ones we put on ourselves in the forms of comparing ourselves against and competing against other women, how would you combat this in the sense of letting those insecurities that lead into the comparison and competition within your communities and organizations. And Ty, I would like to start with you because you're the vice chair of the Ambitious Women's Society.
Being AWS vice president, and we're all about sisterhood and being a word for women, I look at the women as inspiration. So I don't necessarily compare them to myself. I try to learn from them because they inspire me every day. Like interacting with them and speaking about their goals, like having one-on-one time with them. So to answer that question, and honestly, I learn from them. And that's how I'm able to come back because they got something that I don't have, and I would like to implement it in my daily life. So that's the thing that I want to do going forward.
Thank you so much. So Dr. Green, actually, I got to meet her through our experience working on the Women's Symposium together. And she's a part of so many other communities that I wanted to ask, how do we hold each other accountable while also providing support and encouragement?
I have a line that I share with people. If you work for me, my job is not to hire you to be a person who works in office. My job is to give you everything that I have and more, because I want you to be better than I have ever been. I want you to be at the point that if I need you in the future, that you would reach back and you will help me and all of those good things. So with that being said, I do not sugarcoat if you work for me or with me. You will never have to worry about walking on eggshells. And so to answer your question, my famous line that I use with everybody when it's time for us to have those crucial conversations is, whatever I say out of my mouth, it is genuinely to help you and to never hurt you. Because if I don't share information with you that's gonna make you better, and I just look and say, ooh, I can't believe they're doing that. Ooh, okay, one more time. Ooh, bring you in and fire you. I gave you no justice. I did not help you, and I did not care about you as a fellow woman. So my job is to help you, to never hurt you, by giving you that advice that you need, but never in a disrespectful way, never in a way to hurt you or make you feel bad about yourself, but in a kind, loving capacity that's going to make you receive the information that I have and to be better and to do better. So that's how you hold each other accountable. You cannot sugarcoat and keep it to yourself. And another way that you hold each other accountable, this is a personal work story for when you all go out into the workplace, and I've shared this story many times. Working can be very combative, competitive, and heartbreaking, especially if you are a Pollyanna. That's what people call me. They say I'm always happy. So when I worked in corporate, I will never forget this, and hopefully it will help you. And this is another way of holding people accountable. So make a long story short, I was working on a project. I had this great idea, and I decided that I was going to implement the idea. There was another person who worked at the organization. So I would go by their office, share the idea with them, and let them read through all of the pieces and all of the parts. And then when I was finally ready to present it to the senior vice president, that this is what I wanted to implement and create this new position, I was ready to go. The person who I was sharing it with, okay, flashback. No, I'm joking.
Oh, yeah.
But the person that I was sharing it with, they took the idea they presented, and they got the opportunity to open up that position. And if I did not have the love of the Lord, because I loved him so much, and I knew I represented him before I represented myself, I did not go postal or get upset, but I did hold the person accountable. Because when we all went out to eat, it was like 5 girlfriends, we all went out to eat, and we were going out to eat to celebrate her new promotion. I know y'all. And so when we were sitting at the table and everybody was celebrating, and the people kind of sort of knew what happened, and it was almost like people were wanting me to act a fool or to do something, you know, out of character, so they can witness Alberta finally stepped out of character. So when we were at the table and we were celebrating, and she was like, yeah, I'm so happy. And you know, corporate is cutthroat. So I had an opportunity, because we had not one of the friends to say, Roberta, what do you think about so-and-so's new position? And I looked at her, with my big sweet eyes, and I said, all I would like to know is, why did you do that? Why did you do that? And we care for each other, and you knew I'd been bringing this to you, showing it to you. Why did you do that? I just need to know. And her words just like were so profound. She looked me back in the eyes and she said, I'm so sorry. And when she said that she was sorry, that was all that I needed, because I did my part. I held her accountable for what she did. And then when she said that, I told her, I said, you know what? I truly, truly appreciate you. I know things happen and they happen for a reason, but I think you're going to be amazing. You're going to be the best person for this position, because if anybody could do it, you could do it. Because I could get upset, I could be mad, I could do all of these evil things, but at the end of the day, I don't know what caused her to do what she did. I don't know if her husband lost his job, if her kid was sick, if she needed the money, if she was desperate to do whatever she did. But what I do know, I held her accountable, I shared how I felt, I accepted, her apology, and I praised her, and I was still going to support her in that role that she chose. So I'm just telling you, things happen, but you got to figure out which side you're gonna stand on. Are you gonna be on the side to help and be positive and move forward and know that God has something special for you? Or are you gonna be on the conniving, tell the whole world, say the person's name, kick them under the dirt, which side? You get to choose.
I would like to switch into our third topic, which is empowering positive changes. We asked our audience what are ways you can empower the women in your life. Let's see some of the responses. Support them, healthy competition. You can encourage and uplift women inside and outside of the workplace, and also be intentional with your personal encounters. Compliment them, encourage them, build them up, and recognize their hard work. I'm loving these answers. This energy in here is amazing. So I would like to turn over to our panelists and ask our first question. What advice would you give to someone who's currently feeling powerless? I'll let you pick it up if you want to.
Wait, what was the question?
The question was, what advice would you give to someone who currently feels powerless?
I would say to try to channel your own inner power, because just like Alberta was saying, there's plenty of room at the table for everyone. You don't necessarily always have to wait for the invitation to be invited to the table. Sometimes you just gotta grab a chair and sit down and say, hey, what's up? You know what I'm saying? And that may take a lot of courage, and it may take a lot of being outside, but that we all have that inner power that was given to us, and you're responsible for using it. So again, surround yourself with mentors, 5 people who you want to be with, 5 people who you want to be like, and be around them. I had a student before, she was, and I think I was just a graduate at the time, and her mother had just passed away when she was my student. So she reminded me a lot of myself at her age when she was in school. And she's a hard worker, and she's a good student, and so I've just kind of taken her under my wing, and then she's done so good. But anytime she has that negative self-talk, she'll come sit in my office and say, oh, I didn't get into PT school, I don't know what I'm gonna do, I don't know if I'm gonna get in. And I build her up, I encourage her, to go to graduate school. She was my graduate student this semester. Guess who just got into PT school, her second try? She did. So recognizing that when other people feel powerless, if you have an eye for that, see that in other people, recognize them, give them a hand out, give them a hand up, give them a hug, give them a snack, give them a word of encouragement. Just give them, let your light shine to them so that they can see it and you light the path for them. I'm sorry, will you go ahead?
You're fine.
I had something to say.
I would say for someone who feels powerless to take risks. But know within taking risks that rejection is not failure. I used to look at rejection like, ooh, somebody tell me no. Like, I was scared of not getting a job, not making prep, like not making different things, but rejection is not failing. Failing is when you get knocked down and you don't even try again. Failing is staying there within the fact that, oh, they told me no, or oh, I didn't get this opportunity. And I had to look at it in a standpoint of pretty much like, again, that mindset of they told me I couldn't do something, so now I'm going to do it. And within that, celebrate, as he mentioned, well, they mentioned earlier, I don't remember, he mentioned it, someone. Like, you want to applaud yourself for the progress that you're making in the moment and stop living for the future. You're always thinking like, oh, I want to be this or I want to get there. And it's okay to just be like, well, I did this today. Even if it's something as simple as, oh, I put on a little makeup, I put on lip gloss today. Applaud yourself for that. Go get ice cream or something. Just because sometimes it's the small accomplishments that matter the most and you don't even realize because you're too busy looking on what's ahead of you.
Thank you so much.
One of the things that I think about in life is light. Like, I love the whole theme of light. And one of my favorite verses is Matthew 5:16. It just says, let your light so shine before others, they may see your good works and glorify your Father in heaven. And I just feel like when you let your light shine, it shines on everybody. And it could be shine on somebody who's in a dark place, or it could just be lighting up someone else's path. Like, when you let your own gifts, your own abilities, your own talent shine, whatever that looks like for you, you have no idea how bright that light can shine. And the ripple effect, it lights up the room, right? So darkness, you can walk into this room full of light. Somebody walks in with something dark, it's not gonna put the light out. But if you walk into a completely dark room with one little light, it's gonna light up the whole room. So your little light, no matter how little you think it is, if you let it shine in others, in every aspect of your life, it's a ripple effect. It's the light effect. Everyone else is going to have that light and be able to use it, be able to see. And you may be lighting up someone's path that they haven't seen. That path may have been dark till you walked in and said, well, here's what I did, and give them a little encouragement, and all of a sudden their path is all lit up. Just like, you know, when you have the light bulb moment, they may have that light bulb moment because you were the one who turned on their light, you know? So that's what I would say.
Say being the change. So like, as much as we say we want these things to happen and we want things to look this way, sometimes you have to be the person to set the example, as she said, be the light for everybody else. Something that's stuck with me is my best friend loves lighthouses. And she always talks about how like being a lighthouse for someone can guide others, as she mentioned with light, to their destination. So sometimes some people need a little push, and if you be the light, you can help them get there.
And the ripple effect is something as simple as, what's your name?
Trinata.
Hey, Trinata.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm doing fine. I'm 26.
Trinata, you are wearing that dress.
Oh my gosh.
And your hair looks so cute.
Yeah, it's definitely in the back.
Yes. So I literally could have been thinking that about her and kept it to myself.
Yeah.
Sometimes you never know that your voice is what people need. Your smile is what people need. Your moment of encouragement that may have only been 3 seconds is something that people need. So if you want to spread joy, happiness, and love when you see somebody winning, share that out loud. I know we think it all day long, but share it out loud. I'm a big complimenter and not a fake complimenter.
Yeah.
I'm the person who's going to compliment you and mean it, because that may be something that you needed, but also it makes me feel happy to notice something wonderful about you and to share it with you instead of keep it locked in.
Being kind and understanding, sincere smiles, and sincerely ask them how they are. That is beautiful. For my last question.
I ditto to everything they just said. I love all of that.
I like the smile one.
Yes. Sometimes I smile and you don't know. You could smile at someone who maybe it's the first smile they've seen all day. I'm a hugger too. Some of my students know. I'm like, if you don't like to be hugged, it's okay. But sometimes I'm so excited to see them and I just want to hug them. Or when they give me good news, I'm like, you never know. But it shows your enthusiasm. It shows your genuineness. It just shows you're truly happy for them.
champion others and all of that. One of the things that I have learned from experience is championing others is getting out of the way. Okay? Because sometimes when we are able to move into those areas and we're seasoned in the field, sometimes you have to move out of the way so others can come through and lead. And that's absolutely what I am trying to practice with all of the individuals in the Division for Student Affairs. It is nothing wrong. What did she say? There's room for everyone. And there really is. And we have to learn when. We have to know when it's time to move into another space, because that's very important. But remember, for everyone here, that there's room for everybody to grow. The other thing that was said, sometimes you have to choose the circles that you're going to be in. And that's important, especially for those of you who are in undergraduate school. That's very, very important. Sometimes you come here. I had a situation just this morning. Well, my parents made me stay with one of my friends from my hometown. However, they don't know her the way I know her. What am I supposed to do? Then I said, you have to have that tough conversation and let them know that you're not comfortable staying with this person. But before you have the conversation with your parents, you need to talk to the person that you're rooming with. And let them know, you know, if I call home and we start talking about what you're doing here, there's gonna be a problem. So now, how are we gonna manage this? And that's one of the things that you have to think about, because a lot of times parents are trying to bring you to school to make you feel comfortable. However, they don't know the backstory of everybody. And so you have to have those conversations. But I want to thank our panelists. I was listening to you all as I walked all the way to Sandoval, room 236. You know, I don't pay attention to every single thing. And then I'm texting because I get to the room, there's no one there. And then I said, where am I supposed to be? I'm watching this, and then I saw the background. And I said, oh, I know where that is, in the hangar. So to the hangar I started.
This event taught me a lot of things, and I was definitely really excited to hear from the stories of these wonderful women. I hope you benefited from this video too, and please like and subscribe and comment your favorite part of this video. Thank you.